Hey beautiful people, and welcome to English 10 Semester B. This is 10th grade Unit 4, All That Glitters is our focus this time in Unit 4, so that's fun. Our resources folder is still up top, just like you would expect. You have our textbook that leads to our PDF. So if you want to access the textbook and save it, this is your access to do so. If you like reading it in Schoology, that's up to you. I personally like to download and then save it so that I can put it in my favorites so that I can access it super easily. The other resources you see is the online interactive textbook link. You can access that using the link. And going with Savas Easy Bridge in Weld County to get to your online book, which we'll talk about at another time. So those are the resources that we are using so far in this class. On Monday, this week, we tackled a Times writing, read through our class syllabus, completed a survey based on that syllabus, read the essential question for the quarter, and then discussed the essential question in images, talking about what our possessions reveal about us, by including 3 pictures of possessions and then discussing what the definition is of a possession. What do our possessions reveal about us? And then the last thing in our assignments, that's it. I accidentally have a copy of the syllabus and survey. So that was Monday. Tuesday is called Folder 2. This is our example essay with I came, I saw, I shopped. We started with a discussion question on what matters most to us, and we posted 3 images and then shared why those things were important to us. Then we went forward and read I came, I saw, I shopped, pages 366 through 367. And that is something that you can access. Change my screen for just a second here so I can see my little tab. If you want to access that, you click the Control and F buttons at the same time. And you can see mine when I do that, it popped up here outside of our screen. And then you type in the name of the text that you're reading. Ours is I came, I saw. And boom, it finds the first one. So that's cool. It's an easy way to access your text since now our page numbers do not align with our PDF numbers. So I came, I saw, I shopped. We read through this first essay because this essay includes example statistics and expert opinion in the same way that your informative text, which is your midterm and final essays, essay 1 and essay 2, will be needing to use example statistics and expert opinion. So this is all about people and why do we buy what we buy? Why do we buy so much? And that whole section, if you go back to the assignment here, after you read the text, you have 3 questions to answer using that text. The first one asks, how does the writer present information using statistics, expert opinions, and examples? And so your job is to actually find, copy and paste a quote that includes an example, statistic, or expert opinion, and then explain how the author uses that quote. So pick one quote. The quote specifically needs to include an example, statistic, or expert opinion. And then you're just looking at and thinking about how does that author use this information. Number 2 then is how does the writer help the reader understand the importance of the information. So they've presented some examples, statistics, or expert opinions, but what do they do to explain it? How do they clarify how it's used? And then lastly is what do our possessions reveal about us based on this particular text? So according to the author, why do we buy what we buy, and what does that show about us as humans, as us about Americans, as us millennials? You can take that question a lot of different directions. So that was our folder for Tuesday. Reading the article, reading the essay, and after reading questions. And then today, it's Thursday, and we jumped into our Thursday, Friday folder here. This is our first reading, which is why the folder is called Text 1, Thursday, Friday. It starts with vocab, so we went and actually opened our textbook and looked for the vocab. And again, I used that Control F and I searched for the title of the text, which is the necklace. Boom, it finds it. That's not the one I want, so I just scroll to the next one, to the next one. And here's where our story starts. And when you are doing vocabulary, I suggest using the text instead of just using Google or another search engine, because the text is going to give you the correct definition based on how it's used in the context of the story. So our first vocab word, refinement, has a definition right here: politeness, good manners. So there's a lot of refinement that could happen. You could be refining metal, but in this case it's specifically politeness and good manners. And then I would take this information, and since it's something that you submit, I suggest opening a Google Doc. And what I would do is I would open my Google Doc, and I actually would take all of these, copy them, and then paste them. Oops. And then as I come across them in the text, copy and paste. So that's how simple it is when you're doing your vocab. Now, once you've gone through and you have all your vocab, as you can see, that can be a super fast assignment. That's like going to take me like 3 minutes. After you've found all your vocab words, then I suggest that you go back through the text and you actually read each sentence that includes the text so that you can see the word in context. So now that we know that refinement means politeness and good manners, we read the sentence that included it. This is a very long and beautifully complex sentence. A lot of you said one of your goals is to write more complex sentences. One way to do that is to become more familiar with how they are written by reading. So the sentence starts here saying, unable to afford jewelry, she dressed simply. But she was as wretched as déclassée, for women have neither caste nor breeding. In them, beauty, grace, and charm replace pride of birth. Here's actually the start of the sentence, my bad. Innate refinement, instinctive elegance, and suppleness of wit give them their place on the only scale that counts, and these qualities make humble girls the peers of the grandest ladies. So here we're talking about innate refinement, of some sort of politeness and good manners that comes from within. And likewise, we have suppleness, the smoothness and fluidity of wit. So their intelligence needs to be fluid and able to adapt to different situations, which makes perfect sense, right? A lady, if you picture a lady from the days when there were big dresses and butlers and carts with horses and carriages, if you're picturing that time, a woman must be able to be entertaining in the home, but also be able to appeal to people on the dance floor, be able to have a conversation, and have that suppleness of wit. So your job after you find those definitions is actually read the sentences that include your text. Include the vocab in the text so that you become familiar with how it's used. It's also a really cool way to preview the text to be able to understand or predict where you think the text is going with all these words. The textbook is also really intentional in how it chooses the vocab words, because the vocab words are generally crucial to understanding the tone, the attitude, and some other more important details of the text. So that's vocab. After the vocab is the assignment for the reading and where it is. After you complete the reading, your job is to answer our question, how is value determined? And you need to refer to the text and answer the question. So according to Madame Loisel, what makes something valuable? Why doesn't she see the value in her normal life? Why does she long for the value of expensive, nice things? And then in the end, what does she value? So think about value in the text and then write your answer to the question including 1 and 2. 1 asks you to refer to the text. 2 asks you to answer the question. So make sure you read those instructions carefully to answer that question and get full points for it. Then lastly is a handout, and this handout is something that you want to have open as you read. You click this link at the bottom. These are these instructions for how to upload the file when you are done. I suggest uploading it this way, and then in the submit section, use the first tab and then click the little, I can't do it on my computer, but you click the little symbol of the papers and upload the file, and it should be the most recently downloaded file. It should be the thing that's highlighted, and then click submit. If you have questions about that, shoot me an email or meet me on Zoom on Wednesdays. The link for handout for the necklace then includes everything that you need from vocab to the literary devices to the comprehension questions. So your job is to complete all of these. I've taken the time to create in this document spaces for you to answer all these things. So where there's an open box, there is a place for you to answer the question. So your job is to answer A, 1 through 6, B, 1 and 2, and then the literary devices part, 1, 2, 3, and then the comprehension part, 1, 2, 3, 4. I do suggest having this section open and maybe in a split screen as you read the text, so that as you come upon the first answer to the question at the beginning of the story, why is Madame Loisel unhappy with her life? You'll find that at the beginning of the text, and then you can just pause from reading the text and you can write in the box your answer, and then you can go back to reading the text. That way you're able to finish the handout as you go, and already you have 1 through 4 done, and after the text is finished you can go through the rest of them. So these are the assignments for this week in English 10, All That Glitters. As soon as Monday comes, I'll open the assignments for the next week, and you'll have a video for that as well. Have a great day.